Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another LiveCTF stream. And this time I'm joined by Gunvald. Hello, Gunvald. For those who don't know Gunvald, which should be like a small portion of people, but still, would you just give like a short introduction of yourself? Oh, wait, your audio is not working. Well, hold on 1 second. Yeah, let's fix that. Sorry, people. We had some last-minute changes. I'll have to sort this out. Okay, so as you can see, I'm the only one now from the CTF crew, so that's why we're running a slightly different setup here, and you will just have to bear with me for a second and see why the audio is not working. Give me one moment and try to fix this. What the hell? Yeah. Or actually, let me. Yeah, Gunvald, could you say something? Wait, did you just say something right now, or was that from the? No. Okay. Okay. Sorry, people. We will. I will go to a short intermission. We have. right, I think we might be back. Gunvald, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
All right, now we have audio of you. Great.
Perfect.
All right. Sorry about that, people. All right, we're back. Gunvald here with me instead of the rest of the LiveCTF crew. And yeah, Gunvald, could you give a short introduction of yourself?
Absolutely. So, hi everyone, I'm Gunveil Coldwind, and I've been playing CTFs for 20 odd years, I guess. I've also co-created a team called Dragon Sector, which historically was pretty good, I would say. And I'm also know CTFs basically from both sides as a player, as an organizer of Google CTF and Dragon CTF, and also with Carl we did, for example, Accelerate through the last couple of years together.
Yep. And I mean, you also do some, or at least used to do some like live streaming and content on YouTube, and a bunch of other things. So really nice to have you here. I see we have live overflow in the chat as well. Good morning. Another prominent content creator in security. So let's go through what the status is with the LiveCTF. So we just closed the fifth challenge called Don't Blink. And we did have a slight technical issue at the beginning of that challenge where submissions were not being properly evaluated. However, the submissions were still being recorded, and once we had fixed the issue, we re-evaluated all the submissions, and all the correct ones were correctly marked as correct submissions, and then all the points were awarded correctly. So if you did submit a correct solution, everything was fine, and that solution was marked as correct, and you got the appropriate amount of points. This resulted in like a delay of reporting the points, so it didn't show up on the main Nautilus Institute scoreboard. But after that was fixed, everything was fine, as reported correctly. So that was the status of the challenge, or the technical difficulties of that challenge. And I also want to talk quickly about, again, just the challenge before that. We had the fourth challenge, Test Your Luck, where we had more major issues, which in the end, what we decided to do was to extend that challenge so it's open all the way until 1600 UTC, and the score will not have a drop off on that. So any solve before the challenge closes will get the full 50 points, because there were some issues which made it kind of we couldn't really make it fair with those points. So you can solve the challenge all the way, and that means also we will have an extra stream compared to what we originally had scheduled, so at the end of that challenge, where we'll talk about that challenge. So that's it for status updates. And now let's look a little bit at the challenge we just had. So
yeah, Carol, so you basically mentioned when we talked before, right, that this is a linker script challenge. I don't believe I ever saw a challenge like that. Could you walk me through it?
Yes. So the idea of the challenge is, the concept is actually fairly simple. The participants submit, so there's a server. The server contains the source code for a very basic C hello world program. So, you know, just your main function that will print something and then exit. So it doesn't do anything. It doesn't have any vulnerabilities and so on. And the server will compile this program and run it. But when it compiles it, it will compile it using your linker script, and that you can submit.
Okay, so what's a linker script? What does it do, and how do you? Because like when I'm compiling normally a C application, right? I don't really need to provide any linker script. So where does this come into the compilation flow?
Yes. So normally the compiler, right, it kind of like hides this step for you. So if you're compiling like a binary, like a C program, there's kind of two steps to it. You have like the compilation where you transform like source code into machine code. And then there's linking, where you take multiple components or objects and put them together into one binary. So you could, for example, have a very common thing is that you have libraries compiled separately, and then you compile your code and you link them together into one executable binary. And there can also be, this is also where you kind of set up kind of the structure of the binary, like other parts of the binary that's not necessarily just like the code itself. So this kind of like takes the raw compiled machine code parts and assembles it all together. Although I should probably not use the word assemble here, because that could be that could mean another thing in this context, right? But it puts everything together in like to a program that you can actually execute. And normally the compiler will use like a standard, some default linker script that works for most cases. But sometimes you might want to do something fancy and use your custom linker scripts.
Okay, so it's basically like it grabs all the object files, it grabs like the sections in them and like rearranges them, and basically the script tells the linker what to output, like what should be in which section, and so on and so forth, right? Do I understand this correctly?
I think so. I must say, I mean, I'm no expert. I don't think I actually have written like a linker script like once or so, but it was very much like following some example and just tweaking some values and until it worked right. But this is kind of my understanding of linker scripts. You probably can do a bunch of weird stuff with it as well.
Cool. So okay, so how does it fit in the whole picture basically? So users, players do submit the linker script, right? And it then, as you said, is basically fed into this compilation pipeline where the compiler compiles some basic application. Then the linker script is used to link it, and they get an executable. Is that executable? Do they download it, or do they is it run on the system? What's the final goal here?
No, so the linker script, the resulting binary is then executed on the server, and the goal for the participants is to gain code execution and get the flag. In all of our challenges, we have a binary that's called submitter that you can run, and it will print the flag for you. In some of our challenges, there are other ways to get the flag as well, but this thing will always be there. So getting code execution and running this binary is the way to get the flag, right? So to do this, you would have to, because like normally the program would just print hello world and exit, and that's not very interesting.
Yeah.
So you would need to do something else.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you actually solve this challenge? Like, how do you need to convince the linker to do what? To like change a hello world into something which executes the submitter? How do you go about it?
Yeah, so actually I'm there's probably like multiple ways you could do this, and I'm probably just gonna have to throw this back to you. Like, what would be your first approach when hearing about this? Like,
yeah, that's an excellent question. So I'm wondering, because you need to execute the binary, right? If you need to just to like get the flag file, maybe there would be a way to actually tell the linker to like exchange a text file with whatever is being linked in the read-only data section, or the hello world string would be, right? But that's not the way here, apparently. So is there a way basically you'd have to, I think, well, you cannot really submit your own object file to be linked with it, but would solve any problem, because you could like run it through like add it to the constructor list so it's executed before main, but that might not be the way here. You cannot, unless you can provide an object file or some binary data in the linker script. That would be a solution, I think.
Yeah, so you cannot provide a separate object file. Like, we only allow you to upload the linker script. But first, let's talk about the first thing you mentioned, like with the kind of like including the file. That would be kind of like, if the resulting binary is like downloaded and we wanted to like leak a file, for example, then that's probably could be the way to go, right? You would say like, oh, by the way, also, add the contents of this file into the binary, the resulting binary. And so I might even vaguely like, recognize, or like it feels vaguely familiar, that kind of challenge. Even might even have been something like this on a challenge on a CTF before. I'm not entirely sure, but so yeah, as you said, like that's not enough, because we need to get code execution here. as I said, providing your own object file doesn't work. However, you mentioned like, providing binary data directly in the linker script. And
Yeah, can you
this
do
is
that?
something, yeah, so this is something you can do. It's not, I mean, I think you provide it as, it's basically as integers. It's like similar to, writing constants when writing assembly, basically. Like you can provide the sequence of hex numbers or whatever. So with that, it should be pretty straightforward, right? You would just make sure that those arbitrary bytes end up in a location where they are executed somehow.
Cool. So how many people actually got it?
Yeah. So actually, let me do a quick refresh here. I'm going to check that there's nothing secret on the screen. Hopefully, this is kind of dangerous to run with everything being broadcasted, but I'm going to do the download again. And we have 24 solutions for this challenge. And I actually did look a little bit at the challenge. I'm just going to switch to my the full screen sharing view here so that we can more clearly see this. And let me do a full screen thing here. All right, so let's look at some of the challenges. So we had 24 solutions or solves. The first one came already after 17 minutes by yeah, it's really impressive. I think we basically, when we're building these challenges, we were saying like you should be able to solve them within like an hour or so if you know what you're doing. And yeah, they clearly did that. So let's take a look at this, and we can see here that they have a so first of all, there's like some things we notice here. It's like a big payload here with the linker script, and the kind of obvious thought here is like they didn't write this from scratch in 17 minutes, right? Like 350 lines of linker script. Oh yeah, I mean, okay, that's also a possibility, right? But if we look at the top here, you say that it says like it's a comment like script for, and then it's a bunch of command line flags and so on. So I think if I remember correctly, you can like tell GCC to like output the linker script that it would use given some compilation flags. So I would guess that's what they've done, and they've taken that as kind of like a starting point. And then here, I think we have like the interesting part. Yeah, and the experienced, exploit writer. I think this is a slash, right? Like this is like, or is it? Or am I? Like this is like, yeah, yeah, but it's like bin/bin or something like this, maybe. I think this is like, and then you have more like this, and then they put all of this like directly in the text segment, right? I always mix up like segment and section when talking about, yeah, a section, yes. Um, Thank you. And then I guess at some point they would need to yeah, they need to set like the entry point, right? Because the entry point is not necessarily like the first byte of the text section. Oh, yeah. Let's see if there's. Yeah. So I actually don't quite know the exact mechanism of this, but at some point, I mean, maybe it's like a default thing that it starts at the first byte. Yeah. So yeah, so that's basically one solution. So you can see like it's this linker script. It contains a piece of shell code here using the fill thing. And then the actual thing here, they just submit it, they wait for a moment, they then execute some shell commands, and they run this submitter and then exit, receive all output, print that, and yeah, they're done. Yeah, so let's look at this one. This is the second solution. Yeah, so this is from Undefined, and they were just like 1.5 minutes slower than Blue Water. Yeah, and here you can see it's a very minimal linker script. So this one they did probably write like from scratch by themselves. Yes, actually, using that, we go. If we search for entry, look, there is an entry SC shellcode, I guess, and then here they define SC, and then they fill with these things. Okay, makes sense. Yeah. And I mean, I guess there's not too much to say about this. They set, I guess, like the required things like the output format and the architecture and the entry point, and then they define this section. And here they don't use the fill thing; they have this byte thing. But I mean, the end result is the same. They don't have to do this like advancing kind of like the current thing or something. I would expect the dot is like, you know, the current offset or current position or something like that. Yeah. And here that's probably, you don't need to do that with just the bytes like this. Um, um, I would say, because I don't see submitter being mentioned here, and here I see a 2F and like a long word. So I think they have submitter directly here. I would say this is SUBMITTER. Yeah. So here you have slash submitter, like, and this is a dot. So it's this. Here you have dot slash submitter here. Um, yeah, which is like, in a sense, like cleaner, but of course, like that means that, you know, if you're doing like local testing, experimenting, you might need to have a different shell code. While this one is more like, oh, just launch a shell and then, you know, we can do whatever we want. So two different approaches. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I think, like, you know, the kind of like you know, the reasoning you had is probably like the way you would go. Like, even if you know, almost nothing about linker scripts, like you would read up on like what is a linker script, and then you would have this, okay, but maybe it can, apart from like putting things together, maybe you can also like hard code values somehow in it, and then like start looking in the documentation and uh you know, finding maybe examples of this, and so on. Uh, so yeah, let's have a quick look at just a few more solutions here. We can see the Orga Kraut solution, which was like 3 minutes. after the first solution, so still within the full 50-point limit. They seem to have gone basically the same route as Blue Water, like dumping the default script, and then wait, what? Where is the wait, let's look at. Yeah, I was still gonna look afterwards what they do, if they do any modifications. No, okay. Yeah, so let's look at text, as you said. Text. Oh, okay, here it is. It was just, let me do this with my editor. And they just had put it all on one line. So I didn't, it was not as prominent. Oh, yeah, okay, I see the issue. Why? No. Okay, sorry. So since I switched to the, this is, hold on a second. If you say something now, Ginville.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, now you're okay. So it was it was basically since I switched to the full laptop view.
I guess every view has its own audio settings.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Oh, that's so stupid. Okay. Sorry, people. Now you should be able to hear Ginville on this view as well.
That's okay. The good thing is I didn't say anything important. Carlos giving all the info, so all good.
Yeah, I hope the the main content was being conveyed here. Otherwise, please ask questions in the chat. So what I was saying, yeah, they just put it all on one line, but it's basically the same solution as Blue Water. Except they also.
It's interesting, like a linker script.
Yeah. So let's see, Straw Hat. They did. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah. Apparently, there is some slight issues with the current challenge that we will also need to look at. But that's basically like I looked at a few more of these challenges, and they're basically these two main categories. Like some people did based it on the default linker script and added their shellcode, and some people wrote a small thing by hand like this. Yeah,
pretty amazing. What was the redirection to my mem region in that like 73 line? Where is it referenced? Interesting.
Here, okay, so this is like define a section and memory. So this is slightly more complex, but the kind of essence of it is the same, right? Okay.
Amazing. So what was the next challenge? Well, I guess you cannot tell anything.
No, well, so the next challenge is called Cheese and Crackers. It is a reverse engineering challenge that I have created. It's the only LiveCTF challenge that I have created. It's live. Apparently, there is some slight issue that I need to go and fix. It's live from, well, since half an hour back and for another 3.5 hours. And then we will do another stream. And then as a reminder again, like the test your luck challenge is still available until 16 UTC. And with that, I think we are rounding out the stream. Thank you very much, Ginville, for joining me. Sorry about the audio issues.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and catch the next stream. Good luck with your challenges. Have fun, and see you later.